Well, welcome back to Start Your Day. I'm Lauren McCoy, and it's one of my favorite days of the week. It is Foodie Friday. Do you have a sweet tooth that needs to be satisfied? I know I do. I think a lot of us do. So we can help you with that on this Foodie Friday. Look at your screen. We're joined by Bowman, the owner of Las Vegas-based Sweet Earth Confections, a 100% plant-based bakery, and Sierra joins us this morning. Good morning, and thank you for starting your day with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So Sierra, I know you're going to be making some cookies for us this morning, and I'm super excited. But first, let's talk about your bakery. Sweet Earth offers all kinds of desserts, from cookies to even cakes in a jar. Oh, that sounds good to me. So what will you be sharing with us today?
So today I'm just going to be showing you a few of the snacks I create here in the bakery. So we do a lot of different things, such as we make muffins, we make miniature bundt cake. Today I'm going to actually be making these Valentine's, Valentine's gluten-free cookie cakes. And so they are 100% have chocolate chip made with oat flour, gluten-free flour, and just a few other little tweaks to make it something that's enjoyable for everybody.
Well, that's exciting. It is perfect for everybody who celebrates Valentine's Day out there. So we just give us a little bit of background. What made you start your bakery? And if you want, you can kind of start cooking while you're talking about that.
Okay. So what made me start my bakery was the fact that when my husband was deployed, because we're a military family, I had one of my friends come and stay with us for the time being. She has an autoimmune disease, which causes her to have issues with intaking gluten, which made it really difficult for cooking in my household with 2 kids and also being locked in the pandemic. I started researching and trying to come up with different ways that I could, cater to her issues and make sure that she could enjoy things, because it was always a tough time for us when we would go out to eat and she'd have to pay $4 extra, $3 extra for something. And I was like, you know what? I need to make things that anybody can enjoy, and they don't have to worry about, oh, it's going to cost me so much more to enjoy it.
And that's what it is. I think when people think of plant-based, they're like, oh, is this actually going to taste good? I'll be honest, I used to be like that, but I have tried different plant-based cookies, and they are just as good as the original. So just talk about some of the unique things that are on your menu. What are some of your favorite things to make? And what would you say are some of the, I guess, stereotypes when it comes to people thinking, oh, plant-based, it can't be as good. It can't be as good as the regular stuff.
Well, so one of the things that I really like to make when I first started, thing I like to do was miniatures. So I was really into doing mini cakes and, smaller little bite-size options. But as I got, more into it, I started doing larger cakes like these ones. I even got to make a cake for a celebrity, which was honestly the coolest thing I did. And so then I kind of branched out, but I wanted to do things that were avant-garde.
And you just
I created these things.
You just put some, what was that you just put inside the bowl?
This is avocado oil. I use avocado because it has a lot of high fat content. And so it helps keep it kind of like it was butter. And that way you don't have to worry about, cooking at too high of a heat, but then also not getting dried out. Because one of the things with using gluten-free flour is it has a tendency to suck up everything and end up kind of gritty. So you want to use something like this. So it's just oil.
And so that helps it to prevent it from being super dry, because that's what some people, if they try to make kind of gluten-free options or plant-based options, it's, oh, okay, why did it turn out so dry? So that's how it keeps the moisture in there.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. So I use a mix of flours. So I like to use the King Arthur gluten-free. I just think it has the best consistency as far as the flour itself. But then I use the gluten-free oat flour as well. That just kind of gives it a little more moistness. Often you have a much better bite and texture versus just the rice gluten-free flour itself. I also use these chocolate chips. They are an allergy-friendly chocolate chip. And so that way I don't have to worry about things that might contain milk or eggs or any of those things. And they're on a dedicated, which I like, so that way you know there's no cross contamination.
Okay, and so that's what you're adding. You were adding the chocolate chips. Oh, it already looks good to me. I can't smell it, but I can just imagine how good it smells in there. But I know that you have your kids. You talked about.
I use coconut flour or coconut sugar as an alternative to using like refined sugars, and so it gives it a brown sugar taste. It's good, almost molassesy. So this is what I use, and then I also use agave. Agave keeps it, again, something that's really nice and soft and helps it be nice and malleable. So those are the options that I use to replace my typical white sugar, which sometimes contains bone char.
Okay, and I see you're not even using like measuring cups or anything. You just kind of eyeballing it. But I love to see that, except for obviously with the agave. But when you were putting the sugar in there, you're just like, okay, let me just.
So because I use the same size thing, what I end up doing is I kind of have like a shake method, so I know how much to put out. I've been doing the same recipe for such a long time at this point. It's been about an hour and a half now, and so I've gotten used to, as far as like non-liquid things, being able to just kind of shake and go. And then one of the things my favorite person, Tabitha Brown, says is, let the ancestors guide you. So I let them guide me a couple of times when it comes to like sugar.
That's what it is. It's Black History Month. Like they are guiding us all. They always do, but it's the month for this. So you're just stirring it up. I know for me, when I'm making cookies, I like to use a fork. You are using a spatula. I don't know if that's the proper way to mix cookies.
You can do it either way. The reason that I'm using the spatula, in my kitchen, I have things that are dedicated to certain items. So I have like dedicated spatulas just for gluten-free. I have dedicated pans just for gluten-free or nut-free. So this is one of my gluten-free, nut-free spatulas. So that's why I'm using this one.
All right, Kiera. Well, we definitely want to learn where we can find your confections, because they look so good.
So you can find them at www.sweetearthshop.com. I use a company called Cast Iron, which allows me to have my storefront available for anybody, anywhere, which is convenient because before you're always going through places like Etsy, or you're trying to start your own website, you're waiting to try to generate that traffic. So I started using Cast Iron because they give me that, that SEO, that people coming in without me having to go through and how do I set up Google Ads, So I really appreciate Cast Iron for, having that ability to let me create and then put it on their website.
No, that's amazing. And can you just show us the cookie dough really quick? I mean, some people like to just eat it as is, and to me, that looks good. I could eat that for Valentine's Day. I'll be by myself, but that's okay. I feel like a heart-shaped cookie can be for anybody.
There's nothing wrong. I'm going to be by myself, too. My husband is deployed right now. It's just me and my kids. So me and my kids are going to eat this together.
Well, that is awesome. And I'm just so happy that you were able to start your day with us. Thank you so much, Sierra, for joining us. It just looks so good. I'm definitely going to check you out on Cast Iron.